Hey guys, and welcome back to video number 2. All right, we're going to look at Meghan Markle. Remember, she spoke at the SXSW festival in Austin, Texas. My goodness, we need to cover this. We knew the second it was announced Meghan was going to be on this panel, there was going to be a lot of backlash, and there was. So let's just jump into this debacle, shall we? Let's go. To start with, they said she put on a stunning display in a silky ensemble. The truth is she walked out, and as is typical of Meghan Markle, she looked rumpled, crinkled, wrinkled. Everybody else was wearing, very well-tailored pantsuits, and here comes Meghan. They announced her out. She got her own microphone, so she didn't have to fight over the microphone with anybody. And almost immediately, she was asked a question, and the first thing Meghan said was, "Is the mic volume good? Okay, I'm just going to assume it's good because you guys will tell me if it's not." So she didn't answer the question. Then she plugged Archwell and she gave her word salad. I love women, our stories, our lived experiences. It was all about, word salad. Then she plugged their production company and got a podcast for women. So she did a lot of self-plugging on the stage. So once Meghan stopped spewing her word salad, then the woman who's hosting this asks somebody else a question. That woman answers, and then the host moderator she ignores Katie Couric, and she goes right back to Meghan. Okay? And she asks her a question, and here goes Meghan. Equitable, representation, seat at the table. It was the same stuff over and over and over again. A big thank you to Kylie on Twitter for this picture because yes, if you can believe it, Katie Couric looks at her and goes, "Meghan, will you tell the story about when you wrote that P&G letter? Because I don't know if everybody's heard it." I almost thought that she did that to be snarky. I'm sure most of you know it was her father who got Nickelodeon to run this story about her. It was her father who told her to write the letter. She mentioned nothing about her father. And by the way, for those of you who may not know this, it was a school project. It wasn't just her. It was a class project. It's funny how after she's done on about how she was an 11-year-old and how she changed the world, Brooke Shields looked up and said, "Yeah, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute." And Meghan laughed and went, "Yeah, that's a little different." And then she looked at Harry. "Yeah, look, Harry, I did a good recovery, didn't I? Wink, wink." Oh my God. This is where things get really interesting because then they move on to social media. They talk to her about the bullying that she endured. And she says, social media seems like it's endless toxicity. I'm trying to say it. I had so much bullying and abuse while I was pregnant with Archie and Lily. Yes, she's a victim. She said, if you think about it, it's disturbing that women are spewing hate at other women. You wouldn't do that to your friend or your mom. But of course, nobody asked her about the Sussex Squad. She had the perfect opportunity right then and there to say something about the online trolling of Catherine since her surgery and the rest of the family, and she said nothing. It's not that Meghan and Harry don't know about the Sussex Squad. They've been told. They actually phoned one of them one time, and then when somebody got in touch with them and said, "Are you aware that this person's been throwing hate at the royal family?" their response was no comment. They could have called the Sussex Squad out then, but they don't. Now, I want to say thank you to Catherine the Great on Twitter because this is what Meghan said. Platforms for quite a bit of hate and rhetoric and incentives people to create pages where they can churn out very, very inciting comments and conspiracy theories that can have a tremendously negative effect on someone's mental health. Some of the theories that are being kicked around right now is that Catherine's had a hysterectomy, plastic surgery on her face, a boob augmentation, surgery to fix damage inflicted on her by William's domestic abuse, an affair with Thomas Kingston which resulted in pregnancy, that Catherine and William are divorcing. You get the idea. Remember, this is the same woman who mocked Catherine right after she had Louis, telling her that she had baby brain. Did anybody else notice that she supposedly is a supporter of women, but yet much of the hate that is spewing is from her? We all remember Oprah, the Cut interview, the Netflix show. What did she do to the Queen as she lay dying? Exactly. And supposedly she's all about equality, and yet it's been shown through her tax records that she pays her male employees more than her female employees, which, by the way, is something she talked about here. Don't forget, Meghan was accused of bullying her own staff and reducing them to tears. They have the Sussex Survivor Club, and this was all backed up in Harry's book, The Spare, where he said they were thrown over their desks crying. He's got a lot of nerve talking about anybody bullying her when she's been proven to be an out-and-out bully herself. I also couldn't help but notice that once again it appears that she and Harry are in another state and their children have been left home alone again. So here's my thought process here. Meghan is absolutely in her element because she wants to convince everybody she's a victim, but she's strong and she can make it through. She'll never admit that she was a bully. For Meghan, as far as I can tell, it boils down to this. If you write anything about her that's not positive, you're a bully. Meghan reminds me of a desperate housewife sometimes. Perfect husband, perfect house, perfect kids. When under the water, she's struggling like a duck. Some other observations now. Harry is sitting there with Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson, I believe, is on the payroll. I could be wrong, but since he went to the UK to the opening of that new wing for the dog shelter, I think that they're paying Marcus Anderson. That's why he's around all the time. There's something weird going on there. I also noticed there's only one picture of Meghan with the women. The rest are without. Now, she wants you to think she's friends with these people, but she's not. One of the reasons I'm thinking that is Erin Haynes, who was hosting the podcast. When Meghan came out, she basically tried to hug her, and the woman literally blocked her with her arm. I mean, she still hasn't realized that just because she's a hugger, maybe other people aren't, and people were noticing that she recovered really well. The hug was rebuffed, she grabbed her microphone, and off she went. Yeah, I agree. So here's my final thoughts on this. This panel, I think their only point of reference is themselves. I think they're woefully out of touch with the regular people. The rest of us aren't multimillionaires. And Meghan's claim to fame and her entire platform is simply because she married a man. There you go. All right, guys, you know what to do.